Hi everyone, welcome to my explanation video. Here we're going to talk about syntax, and most of you probably never heard of what syntax is. So first, let's we talk about syntax. First, we're going to talk about what is syntax. So don't worry, I'm going to make this video as simple as I can as possible. So yeah, without further ado, syntax is simply a sentence structure. Its goals to study syntax is to determine or to study a group of words that make a thing, like they make a meaning of the word that it makes sense. Since grammar is very important to English study, because you don't want to say uh, people say the nice is weather, right? Because it's supposed to be the weather is nice, because the main topic or the subject is weather and not nice. And syntax also have a few rules, but don't worry about it. It's not going to be very much interrogating. The first one is obviously that you need at least one subject and one verb. What does it mean? To make a sentence, there's obviously need a subject, because if you don't have a subject, that's a command that often found on a phrase. Still don't quite understand? I'll give you an example. We see the word John is running. The subject of this part is John, and the verb or determiner is running. So if you say just is running, it's not going to make a sentence. Instead, it was a command. It is a command. Next, a sentence must contain only one main idea, not two or three, but only one. Why? Because it makes us to understand what is the problem for this word or text. If you have like two or three problems, we need to separate it and don't make it once. And next, we're going to explain phrase. So phrase, like you see in the PowerPoint, is neither verb or noun needed. Just like I said before, a sentence need a verb and subject. But if you make a phrase, it doesn't always need a subject. You can just go for a verb to make it once again a command. And phrase also have their own types. First, we have a nominal phrase. This phrase, this phrase need a noun to since it's a nominal phrase, it needs something to be called with the phrase. Like example, you can see there's the black dog. Well, yeah, the subject is the black dog. To it's to call to refer to the thing, which is a black dog. Next, we have a verbal phrase. This phrase often use or always need to use gerund and infinitive type to make it perform. What is a gerund? Gerund is uh, some kind of suffix that end with ing. That's what determine what is gerund is. And infinitive type is a text that followed by the word to be. As you can see for the example, you have taking notes as a gerund and I want to be a doctor as an infinitive. And next we have prepositional. The preposition phrase, like from the name, it's straightforward. You need to use preposition like with, on, between, or in. For example, you can see there's a with a smile she greet her guests. You can see that the word with on the phrase, that is a preposition phrase. And next we got clause. So yeah, you see here clause is a non-complete sentence. Why? Because clause is actually usually it's just need like one verb and one subject. It's the same to a sentence, but it's quite not. And without further ado, I'll just tell you guys about the types of clause. Clause. First we got independent and dependent. What is a independent or dependent clause? So the independent clause is usually a clause that can stand on its own. So if you put that clause, yeah, that's it, he can let alone. But in other hand, dependent clause cannot. So in clauses you have like main clause and coordinator clause. So this dependent clause need a coordinator to explain the main clause. I'll give you an example. For independent clause, there's a word, I enjoy taking long walks in park. That's it, you can quite understand it. But in other hand, the dependent clause says, because it was raining, she decided to stay indoor. Here, if you remove the last part, it's just going to say because it was raining. What's because raining? And if you remove the first part, she decided to stay indoor. I mean, it's quite understandable, but not quite. It still need the like their partner or their friends. Jumping more into, there's also a thing called complex and compound clause. Complex clause, you need one dependent and one independent clause to make it perform. But compound clause, you need two dependent clause. So it's kind of like, oh wait, you need at least you need two independent clause. So if the first or the last part is getting removed, it's okay, they can stand on its own. And for the complex clause example, you have, although it was raining, we decided to go for a walk. You can remove the first or the last part, but you'll see that once there will be one part that need to be grouped with other clause. But in compound clause, we here saw she liked to read books, but he preferred watching movie. If you, either way, you remove both of it, you still, it's still going to be understandable. Say she liked to read books, yeah, understandable. And but he prefer watching movie, it is also still understandable. And next we have diagram tree. So diagram tree is a graphical of how to determine a words by a grammar. So it's separate to a several grammar parts. As you see here, you can see a sentence, noun phrase, determiner, and a verb phrase. So let's take a example of a diagram tree. So the word for this example is the chef cooks the soup. Well, as you can see, the noun phrase sentence, the sentence that make a noun phrase, the determiner is the word the, and the noun is chef. But for the verb phrase, you can see the determiner is the word the again, and the noun is soup. It's just going to be like that, the graphical diagram thing. So that's all for the syntax explanation video I made. Hope you guys understand. Thank you very much and see you later.